All right, what's up everybody? We will get the stream started here in just a moment, but first we'll just do the quick audio visual check. So if you can hear us, and if we are streaming in 1080p, go ahead and leave a thumbs up in the chat, and we'll kick this off in a moment. Happy Wednesday to everybody. Hopefully you're having a good middle of the week so far. All right, everybody, let's get started. So welcome back, everybody, to Walks and Wall Street. Today is Wednesday, December 27th, 2023. It's about 8:59 p.m. here in Midtown Manhattan. It is a very blustery, windy, rainy, sort of been raining on and off all day today. So I do have the umbrella. Okay. Just in case we need it. However, I think the rain stopped. So hopefully for the duration of the live stream for the next 2 hours, we will be staying rather dry. I want to bring a few things to your attention, to the audience here. We haven't talked about the Chinese commercial paper market in a while. I think it'd be appropriate just to quickly, not do a deep dive into it. Maybe we'll pick that up in 2024, sort of talk about it a little bit more in detail. But if you look at the ticker symbol KHYB, okay, ticker symbol KHYB, that is the Crane Shares Asia Pacific High Income Bond ETF. And obviously it holds a big bond portfolio, mainly of, large Chinese companies, and commercial paper, or essentially this bond issuance of companies to help fund their operations and things like that. But we've noticed the levels in which commercial paper, Chinese commercial paper, has been trading throughout 2020 during the pandemic, right? When everything had that massive crash, not only in China, but in the United States as well. You're starting to see a lot of these ETFs that track the Chinese commercial paper market trade well below the levels that they were trading during the depths of the COVID-19 crisis. So what does this really tell us about the health of the overall, Chinese economy? What can we take from this to sort of project forward to build out our thesis on China? As you know, which we'll get into a little bit later, China is going through a very, very big and quite substantial real estate crisis, which can arguably be compared to 2008, right? Maybe even a little bit worse in terms of the contagion there. So I just wanted to bring everybody's attention to that. Again, one of the tickers that I look at is KHYB. That's the Crane Shares Asia Pacific High Income Bond ETF. Might want to check that out. Although the low was in November of 2022. The low was about 23 bucks. Now we are trading at 25 bucks. So maybe we're trying to, kind of bottom out here. But I still smell trouble in the Chinese markets. So we'll talk a little bit about that later. I want to shift gears and talk about gold for a second. As we know, gold a few weeks ago tried to come out of that massive, really, almost 10-year long base now. Gold put in a top in August of 2011, August 8th of 2011 to be exact. And gold has been really trading down to sideways ever since. But 2 weeks ago, gold put in a new all-time record high, but then price quickly retreated. But now gold is back over $2,000 an ounce. Currently, if you look at gold futures, we're trading at 2,087, which is very, very convincing. Now, the all-time record high print came on December 4th, I believe. Let me just check the print. Yeah, the all-time record high for gold came on December 4th at 2149, so right around 2150. So this is encouraging, and I think that maybe, this isn't financial advice, but I think, a position in gold is warranted here. I think the risk-reward ratio is pretty good. We're trading near all-time record highs on a multi-decade long breakout. And this is how gold usually tends to trade. So I'm intrigued by this. I'm actually gonna flip you guys around so you can see the chart here behind my desk. And I want you to notice when gold topped all the way back in 1980, okay? So check this out. This is rather interesting. So here you have a monthly time frame of the price of gold. And the pricing patterns are really consistent with gold. You have these very, very ferocious parabolic sort of blow-off tops. And then you have decade-long consolidations. And then once you break out to all-time record highs, the measured move is substantial, right? Maybe 50 to 100% higher. So if we shift gears all the way over here and zoom in a little bit, you could see the high at gold back in 2011. We've been consolidating and building out this handle, and gold looks to be trying to come out again. If we consistently break over 2100 and we have significant volume coming in, I mean, does 2024 bring us $3,000 an ounce gold? I don't know. What do you guys think? All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up, everybody. Just a quick reminder, go ahead and check your email. If you have not received it already, we did send out the final Behind the Street newsletter of the year. So the final investing newsletter for 2023 has been sent out to everybody. So go ahead and check your email. And if you want to be signed up to receive all of our equity research for free, go ahead and scan the QR code on your screen, punch in your email, and you will be signed up to receive our Substack. This week we talked about a lot of interesting things, particularly small caps we focused on. Here's a little bit of a glimpse of the newsletter. We talked about the Russell 2000. We talked about how there's record dry powder on the sidelines as it relates to money market funds. So total money in money market funds has now eclipsed $6 trillion. Which is rather interesting. And we have some thematic investment ideas for 2024, namely in the cybersecurity sector. Okay, and then we talk about the fixed income market, the bond market. So go ahead and scan the QR code, punch in your email, and every other Thursday, you will receive that in your inbox. And at the very end, you'll be able to see a exclusive property tour of one of our newest listings. This week we highlighted 435 West 19th Street. It is a full floor spanning over 2,000 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms with unobstructed views of the Empire State Building, the Chrysler Building, and the Hudson Yards. It just hit the market for $5,750,000. So if you want to see the exclusive behind the scenes property tour, go ahead, scan the QR code, check it out. But for now, let's go ahead and close up the laptop. I'll go ahead and say hello to everybody in the chat, and we will kick the live stream off on the final Wednesday of 2023. Oh, NYC Home, I did get your email, by the way, so I'm going to respond to your email in a timely manner. Thank you for your email. I appreciate it very much. All right, let's get this started. Now, I think I want to take you all to Sutton Place. We haven't been to Sutton Place in a long time, and that will buy us just enough time to go to Sutton Place, and then maybe, okay, which I really, really want to do tonight. I really, really want to do this tonight. I want to take you all into Times Square. I know what you're thinking. Wait, Tom is going to venture into the deep depths of Times Square tonight? Really? Maybe. I'm going to try my best, okay? I'm going to try my best, and I think if we buy ourselves enough time by going to Sutton Place, I think the tourists will have vacated Times Square. But I want to see the numerals. I want to see the ball at the umbrella here, because I think it just started raining again. So actually, let me get my umbrella out. We're gonna have on and off rain here, so we'll see. I see FredX. Good to see you, FredX. Hopefully you had a very Merry Christmas. Our good friend Western Mass Dave is here. Good to see you, Dave. Jonathan Richards, welcome. Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better. Thank you for your well wishes. I do appreciate that. I am feeling significantly better. So thank you for that. Rex A says, good evening, Tom. Hope you're doing well. Rent and food still very, very high. Yeah, we'll talk about some inflation projections and predictions for the next year. I see Meld is here. Vincent, good to see you. Our good friend Gary Carpenter. Ali Star says, hey, Tom. Yes, good to hear you are improved. Yeah, condition is improving. I am on antibiotics, so I'm just going to continue to take those antibiotics. And I think I should be 100% here in no time. I feel 100%. Today I feel 100%, but you know, I still have to continue to get good rest and you know, figure it out from there. JC, it's always good to see you. Hopefully you're doing well. It'll be interesting to see how Bitcoin moves in 2024, being that it is the halving year for Bitcoin. We talked about that in the newsletter. But JC, something interesting, and I was thinking about you today at the office about an hour ago as I was sort of settling down and looking over some charts in the office. Ethereum right now is actually leading Bitcoin. Quite interesting. Quite interesting. Richard Vogel says, is it a sinus infection? Yeah, I got a little bit of a sinus infection. I get these every couple years or so. Now, here's something interesting. I've actually been getting them more often since I've moved to Florida. And I think it's because the air quality in Miami near the ocean is so fantastic and so great that when I come back to New York, you know, if I'm in the subways and everything like that, the air quality is so poor that I think I'm more prone to getting, you know, sinus infections, things like that. Just dirtier overall in the city, unfortunately. DM is here, says hello, Tom and everybody. Good to see you, DM. We are currently standing on Madison Avenue, overlooking the Jefferies building, the major financial firm right here. But DM, essentially what I was telling the team here is we're going to take a little bit of a detour all the way to Sutton Place tonight to buy us enough time to be able to double back to Times Square, because I want to be able to see Times Square before, you know, the big ball drops, and I think it'll be cool. I think it'll be cool. D says, Tom, got to boost the vitamin D3. Indeed. Michael Joseph, what's up? Good to see you. 3T3 says different pollens will do it. Yeah, I just think the air quality, and I could tell, right? So if I spend a week or two in Miami near the ocean at my house, and when I come back to New York, I can 100% feel just the air quality difference. It's a little weird, but it's true. It's interesting. Patricia Johnson says New York City air is cleaner than Miami, Florida. Yeah, that's not true, but whatever, I don't care. Sally, good to see you. FredX, welcome. Yeah, we're gonna cross over to Park Avenue here. This is by the We're coming up on the Ferrari showroom to the right. Jay Grant says, I've been walking around New York City today and it's magical. Yeah, the city's great. The city looks great for the holidays. The city looks fantastic. Now, what was crazy, Jay Grant, that we saw yesterday is, for whatever reason, they're already starting to take down, as of yesterday, a lot of the Christmas and holiday stuff. Particularly, well, sort of wait in the median here. It's a pretty good view, looking all the way down to Grand Central Terminal, MetLife building. Pretty cool. What was I gonna say? Yeah, they were taking down the Christmas stuff at the Louis Vuitton store, which was pretty interesting. Hey, Al Baker says, what's up, Tom? It's 68 degrees here in Hollywood. Clear tomorrow with some rain. I feel like it's been raining more often this year down there, right? Jay Grant says, I'm here for a few more days and wish to see it all. You know, you got to go down to the, what's it called? You got to go down to the Wall Street tree right outside the New York Stock Exchange. That is my personal favorite, I would say, main New York City holiday attraction is not the Christmas tree at Rockefeller Center, but the Christmas tree here. What's it called? Down on Wall Street, which is great. All right, so we'll head over a couple more blocks. We're gonna go all the way to the east side of Manhattan tonight, which is one of my personal favorite neighborhoods in all of New York City. This is called Sutton Place, and you're gonna see a lot of older buildings. We've been here a million times, but we haven't been here in about 2 weeks. So I thought we'd quickly walk over. We're gonna have really good views of the 59th Street Bridge. You're gonna have amazing views of Roosevelt Island, looking all the way into Queens and the East River. And I believe they just opened that East River Park. I don't think it's called East River Park, but it's that elevated kind of high line, similar to what they have on the west side, right? The High Line, which is beautiful, which we all know and love. The city built one, something similar, right along the East River. And I think that's open now. I saw a video of the Manhattan Borough President talking about it, and I'm excited to see it. Who knows, maybe we'll actually have enough time to go on it. We'll see, who knows. Abdullah is here. What's going on? Good to see you, Abdullah. Thanks for joining us on this very rainy night in Manhattan. So this is Lexington Avenue. Now, when I turn my camera to the right, you're gonna see a very, very cool and unique view of the Chrysler Building. Look at that. So all the way down by Grand Central Station, you're gonna see that very iconic and famous Chrysler Building. Definitely looks like Gotham City. But I was gonna ask the chat here, I was gonna try to look it up before we started live streaming. Is there something going on the east side of Manhattan tonight? Because if you look all the way in the distance, you could see all of the police officers blocking off the street, and there's obviously no traffic here. You notice that? So there's no traffic on Lexington Avenue south of 59th Street. I have no idea why, but when I went out to get dinner tonight, the police were blocking off the road, and you could see that there's more NYPD cars just a block away. I wonder what's going on. I don't know. Oh wow, someone says a steam pipeline exploded. Caitlin says, Tom, there was a steam pipe that exploded. Yikes, probably shouldn't be walking around here then. That's crazy, I didn't know that. Yeah, so I guess there's no No car traffic. Hey, Jeff from Southern Tier, New York. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. You know, it's funny how all of you, many of which are not from New York, know exactly what's going on in this neighborhood. And I work about a block away, and I'm walking around just absolutely oblivious to what's going on. That's so funny. Hey, RB's is happy you're feeling better, Tom. You're a real trooper. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm glad to be feeling better too. Stein, thank you so much for your very generous $10 donation. I appreciate you very, very much, and thank you for supporting the live stream. Appreciate it. And hopefully you had a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays with you and your family. Phil is here, says hello from Houston. What's up, Phil? Good to see you. Okay, so we are now on 3rd Avenue. And do you guys know what this building is? This is a very, very notable building in the history of Wall Street right now. Anybody want to take a guess? It's this building that we're looking at right now. What is, or I should say, why is this building notable? I'm not going to say iconic, but why is this building on the corner of East 54th Street and 3rd Avenue notable? I think we already got people that guessed correct. Yeah, almost everybody's got it. This is where Bernie Madoff ran his Ponzi scheme, right here in the Lipstick Building, right on the corner of East 54th Street and 3rd Avenue. Kind of crazy. I always like looking at this one lone building here. This was like the one holdout. Clark's Liquor, it's called. It's like a bar amongst all of the crazy super tall buildings here. You know, let's go up, let's walk up 3rd Avenue because it looks like there's more police activity at the end of the block. We should probably avoid that, or at least do our best to avoid that. But yeah, I remember last time when we were walking over here, we, talked at length about these, Ponzi schemes and how it's not only retail investors that are susceptible to these frauds, right? And I think in most recent times, we briefly touched on a very, very recent and notable Ponzi-like fraud, right? That just recently came collapsing and crashing down, which also maybe have inadvertently set off some bank runs. Sam Bankman-Fried with the whole FTX debacle. And there was a lot of sophisticated investors who were wrapped up in that scheme. All right, check this out. This is such a cool shot. You could just barely see 432 Park Avenue completely captured in the clouds. I would say the top 25% of the building is not even visible. So if you do own the penthouse at the top of that building, well, you're not going to be able to see anything. You're literally living inside the clouds right now, which is pretty unique in and of itself. Hey, Sabrina Fair is here. Good to see you, Sabrina. Hopefully you had a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays going into this new year. Yesterday 15 says, hey Tom, hope you're feeling better. I'm feeling a lot better. I appreciate that. I'm feeling much, much better today. Look at this. This is also a very Gotham City-esque shot here. But You know, at the beginning of the live stream, we were talking about how Ethereum is actually leading. If you look at the price of Ethereum tonight, I don't own any Ethereum, is actually leading Bitcoin. And usually it doesn't necessarily have to relate to the cryptocurrency markets. It's really all markets. And a few, actually we might as well walk down 57th Street this way, just to show you how close Sutton Place is from New York City's Billionaires Row, right? So this is 57th Street. Remember, we're on 3rd Avenue, but if you look all the way down the street, you're gonna see that big sort of snowflake hanging in the middle of the street. That's 5th Avenue, 57th Street. So that's the heart of New York City's Billionaires Row, right? But as we continue to head over to the east side, it's gonna turn into like a whole different world. And we're only less than a mile away from the big show. And that's another reason why I like Sutton Place. Very quiet, very quaint. You're sort of out of all the hustle and bustle of the city. You have great views of the river, but you're within walking distance. So, but anyway, essentially what we were saying is it's usually the darkest hour is when the markets start to turn and change for the better, right? It's kind of like that capitulation effect. So I would say for the cryptocurrency environment, right, what I can think of is the Three Arrows Capital that went under, that went belly up. That was a major sign of a market bottom. And I think the nail in the coffin for me was the massive cataclysmic FTX collapse. I mean, people thought that that was the end for everything. And it's usually like that. It's usually so bleak. And there's so much fear at the bottom. And I think, you know, if you go back in the history books, you can probably make a strong correlation between, you know, the blowing up of Three Arrows Capital, the FTX collapse, you know, and a lot of the other, you know, smaller and less notable frauds and collapses that happened that could have inadvertently led to the bottom here. Now, not to make the whole stream about the cryptocurrency markets, I just think it's important to watch the markets, even if you're not interested in it, because it is a proxy for risk. It is a risk proxy in the market. So even if you think all cryptocurrencies are scams, if you think Bitcoin is a fraud, that's fine. That's totally fine. But it's still important to monitor what these assets are doing because it acts as a proxy for risk. Do investors have a very large risk appetite? And that could signal the health of the market in general. All right, so I believe, now that we're on 2nd Avenue, this must be where the water main or whatever blew up, because, I mean, there are just a sea of police officers. I mean, look at that. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 NYPD cars just here. Closing off 3rd Avenue, probably because of the... Oh wow, everybody look at that. It goes down extremely far. That looks like it goes down all the way to 42nd Street. Huh. Apologies if I'm getting distracted, but this actually kind of looks serious. Yeah, so they're diverting all traffic away from 3rd Avenue. That means the 59th Street Bridge is probably going to be absolutely packed today. Wow, Kenny says the news mentioned air testing for asbestos. Yikes. That's very toxic if that's in the air. Talk about a cancer-causing thing right there. Hey, Justin B says, I hope it's fixed by New Year's. The problem like this might cause a problem. Yeah, for sure. I mean, the traffic is already backed up. Look at that. Michael, what's up? Boone is here from Germany. Good to see you. Let me try to wipe the camera lens. I'll try my best tonight. So we are officially transitioning into the Sutton Place neighborhood. If you guys are enjoying the live stream so far tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new. We tend to do these live streams every night starting at 8:30. So this is one of the main on-ramps to the 59th Street Bridge. Try to wipe the camera lens one more time. Hey, Soho Joe, what's up? Good to see you, Joe. Jim says happy holidays, Tom. Right back at you. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it. Thank you for your well wishes. Now, it's funny that tonight I picked to come to Sutton Place because I was planning on saying, now notice how quiet it is. Notice how little street traffic there is at this time of night. Well, it's not really that quiet tonight, and there's a lot of street traffic. But just sort of note that it's not usually like this over here. There's usually very, very minimal street traffic past 3rd Avenue after 7 p.m. As you head towards Sutton Place. It's just because we have this big explosion as to why it's pretty busy. JC says, Tom, do you work a 12-hour day? I wouldn't say that. I would say no, I don't. I would say some days are longer than others, but I don't consistently work 12 hours a day. Some days less, some days a little more, depending on, what I'm doing that day. But all right, now this is 1st Avenue. You can see a lot of the traffic being diverted coming up and around the 59th Street Bridge. Cooking says, Tom, your voice sounds a lot better. Yeah, I'm feeling almost 100%. I feel 100%, but my voice is definitely not 100 yet. And if you look a little bit in the distance on 59th Street, you can see the main on-ramp to the 59th Street Bridge. But now that we have the light, we're going to cross 1st Avenue, and then we've officially reached Sutton Place. Sutton Place is very well known for their co-ops, their cooperatives. And if you look at price per square foot, Sutton Place right now is priced, what I would say is at a very healthy discount. And we've talked about this before, but if you're in the market for an apartment in New York City, I think you can get very good deals here. This neighborhood has really fallen out of fashion for multiple reasons. It's more of an older style vibe, more of a button-up, polished Manhattanite vibe, not the young, hip Tribeca vibe, which is really in right now. But if you're just looking for a nice place to live, right, more space, you don't need a lot of amenities, then I think Sutton Place is potentially for you. And it's very quiet. Only maybe about a 15-minute walk away from Park Avenue, which is where all the major banks are, the big business district. So I like it a lot. Hey, Jonathan from Florida says, hello, Tom and team, watching from Pompano Beach, Florida. Just got back from the beautiful beach and lighthouse. Wow, jealous. Oh, by the way, Jonathan from Florida. I believe today at the office I got an email and it said, Thomas, you have a package for you waiting at the receptionist desks on the 6th floor. They dropped it off at my desk and I got your package. I really appreciate that. And I have your gift already hanging up right at my office. So thank you so much for your very generous gift. I appreciate it. It'll definitely help me remember Florida and Miami with all those beautiful pictures. So thank you so much for your very thoughtful gift. I appreciate it. All right, now let's pull off to the side and let's check out some of these really nice facades to these buildings here. You can see it's a lot of the classic brick and mortar. And not the crazy, you know, super tall glass glitzy skyscrapers. It's very quaint, very quiet, and very nice. Deborah, Sutton Place is a great area to live. Beautiful apartments. Transportation is a little tough though. That is true. It is a little bit far over, Deborah. You're right. Now, we do have the bus, which is coming in a great cameo right here. And now you have the 2nd Avenue subway that you could, you know, kind of walk over to, and then you could walk over to 59th Street and get the 6 train. But I definitely see what you're saying. But if you want to live in a neighborhood where you're going to get a better bang for your buck in terms of price per square foot and be literally a stone's throw away from all of the main business district, I think Sutton Place could potentially be a neighborhood that could interest you, right? I always like to look for deals. That's sort of how my brain is wired. And since a lot of these buildings here, which the majority of them are co-ops, have really fallen out of fashion, on a price per square foot basis, you can get a lot better deal here. Now, there are definitely drawbacks to your point, 100%. I mean, look at that cool shot in the distance of the 59th Street Bridge. Pretty cool. Hey, Hawaii, says aloha Tom and everybody. You sound better tonight. Yeah, feeling a lot better. Yeah, everybody, Hawaii sent me this crazy video today. Now, apparently Mark Zuckerberg of Meta, right, the CEO and founder of Meta, is building over $100 million compound in Hawaii, like a bunker, like a, you could say like an Armageddon bunker, which is quite interesting and I would say quite telling. Anyway, anybody have any thoughts on that as to why Zuckerberg may be building out over $100 million compound in Hawaii, buying up a ton of land, a crazy amount of land? That cab driver got ridiculously close. He pretty much hopped the curb. That was nuts. I don't know if you guys could see how crazy close that was on the stream, but to me, I mean, damn, crazy. All right, anyway, let's cross the street. This is officially Sutton Place here. You have your little police output. Yeah, Manuel says doomsday prepping, maybe. Now this park is closed. Now I would much rather have it be pouring raining than the misty rain, because it's very difficult to wipe the camera lens when it's just only misty rain. You know what I mean? Because it's essentially like you're walking in a cloud. So we're just gonna have to do our best. Anyway, what do you guys think of the architecture here? It's almost like you wouldn't even kind of believe that we're in Manhattan, almost a little bit. Mary says potentially he's paranoid. Now here's the thing, and call me crazy, but let's just assume for a moment, okay, let's just sort of play pretend here. I want everybody to pretend that you have as much money as Mark Zuckerberg, right? And you're gonna build this, you know, $100 million compound, right? This like fortified bunker in Hawaii that could survive like an apocalyptic doomsday. Now, for me, when I think about that, it's like, okay, let's just say the worst case scenario does happen and it's an apocalyptic doomsday, right? And I'm in my little bunker in Hawaii and I could self-sustain. Like, what kind of life is that? Do I really want to be like the only person on earth just in my $100 million bunker? I don't know. For me personally, I just don't think that'd just be a life that I would want to live anyway. Now, I get it. You should prepare. I get it. But I feel like that scenario is a little bit overkill. If you're preparing for the absolute mayhem worst, like, what good is it going to be if you're the only one left on Earth, right? If you're the only surviving person, I feel like I'd rather be dead, right, with everybody else, if I'm going to be the only one left on Earth. I don't know. Who knows? It's just sort of how my brain thinks. So the rain tonight isn't like your traditional rain. It's like a mist that's coming down. Now look at this. This is a beautiful, beautiful shot of the 59th Street Bridge. Look at that. Now. This is sort of the little patio area that you can sit down at. Hey, Ryan says walk to Chelsea, please. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. Now, if you like Chelsea, like you really, really like that neighborhood, I have a brand new listing in West Chelsea. Now, if you want to check that out, if you want to look it up on Street Easy, it's 435 West 19th Street as we're going to the park here. Again, 435 West 19th Street. And it's this amazing, oh, this is that elevated East River Park. It's not called East River Park, I forget what it's called, but it's this elevated park overlooking the water, which is really, really beautiful. And even though it's just a miserable night out, and it's windy and it's rainy and it's horrible, this is a really, really beautiful sight. It's probably a lot more enjoyable watching this on the TV screen than it is walking around in it, but beautiful. Really, really stunning. You have the 59th Street Bridge that's crossing Roosevelt Island. You can see Roosevelt Racquet Club. And if you look very, very close, you can see the Roosevelt trolley going over, the Roosevelt tram. But yeah, the listing is a full floor unit. So you have your dedicated elevator that takes you up to your 3-bedroom, 3.5-bathroom, 2,000 square feet penthouse with unobstructed views of the Empire State Building all the way to the Hudson Yards. It's incredible, incredible property. Incredible property. We just listed it, And if you want to watch a full video tour of it, all you got to do is scan the QR code on your screen. So if you scan the QR code, it's going to take you to our Substack. So every other Thursday, right when the stock market closes, so right at around 4 o'clock, we send out our free investing newsletter. And at the end of the newsletter, we include a exclusive video property tour of one of our newest listings here in New York City. And I think you guys are really going to enjoy this week's property tour. Many of you have already seen it, but I am very excited to start showing that penthouse in West Chelsea. So if you think about where the High Line is, right? So think about you're on 19th Street, you're looking at the High Line, and you see the very notable and classic Lantern building. We are right across the street from the Lantern building. I would say we have a little bit better exposures just because where the building is placed. But then again, you know, that could be me being biased. So if you want to check out that video tour, just go ahead and scan the QR code, punch in your email, and let me know what you think. All right, so this was Sutton Place Park. I would advise that if you're not from New York City and you're just visiting New York, this is one of the places that I would come to, because very few tourists and really very few New Yorkers even know that this place exists. Rachel K, if you can't scan the QR code, if you type !news, NEWS in the chat, once again, !news, NEWS in the chat, the Nightbot will drop the link to the newsletter. It should say like Walks Wall Street /Substack. But look at how cool and unique these buildings are. You actually have driveways, and you have your own private garage in Manhattan, which is pretty cool. Right? There's not many people that could say that they have their own private garage in Manhattan, which is really fantastic. And the views from here are quite amazing as well. But I think that brings us to the hour mark, folks. So let's go ahead, head back into Midtown Manhattan, and let's try to go to Times Square tonight. I want to try to check out the numerals and the ball that is all the way at the top of One Times Square. Hey, what's up? We got Brad's brain in the house. Where is Tom tonight? Is he in London? We might as well be in London tonight. It is a very miserable, dreary, windy, misty, rainy night, but I do think it photographs well. I think New York City photographs really well when it's rainy and kind of ominous like this. Particularly Sutton Place. Looks very quaint and cool. So hey, what's up, MBA Elias? Tom, it looks like your typical Seattle night. Yeah, I don't know if I could live in Seattle. It's way too rainy and cloudy pretty much all year round. But look at these doors. I mean, I love that accent. It really makes the building pop. You have this very bright white facade, and all of your original windows have this black outer trim. And then you have that really deep reddish brown door, which is great. It's almost like an accent piece in and of itself. And they took the scaffolding down over here too. Not too much scaffolding. I just noticed that. As we are walking down Sutton Place, this used to be covered in scaffolding. It's all taken down now, which is nice. Hey Mary, good to see you. Ow. All right. Now, MBA Elias, I wanted your opinion on something. I wanted your take. So a little bit earlier in the live stream, we were talking about a few things. Number one, right now, Ethereum seems to be leading Bitcoin tonight. Price action is acting very, very well. But I think more notable is gold is trying to have another run at all-time record highs. I believe if you look at gold futures right now, gold is back above 2,000, trading at 2,087, I think 2,090 as of tonight. The all-time record high for gold, I believe, was set on December 2nd of this year. 2150, I believe. 2,150 bucks. We'll see if we try to make another run at it into the new year. Who knows? Hey, Crypto Meme, what's up? Brad's Brains says Ethereum is a house of cards. Agreed. Well, I don't own any Ethereum, in full disclosure. I do own Bitcoin, but I do not own any Ethereum. And the reason for that is mainly the reason that, you know, we've talked about ad nauseum, mainly due to the indecision of the SEC, right? Regarding security, not security, unlicensed, unregistered security or not, right? But also, I don't think it has all of the properties, the unconfiscatable properties that Bitcoin does. In theory, you know, Ethereum could be turned off tomorrow, right? Quite literally, if you just go to Amazon AWS, and if they decide to pull the plug on the project, they quite literally could. But the appeal to me, again, and not to sound like a broken record, with Bitcoin is its unconfiscatable properties, right? You own your private keys. It's pretty much unconfiscatable. Ooh, so I think we're gonna walk back into Midtown Manhattan. We have the wind at our face instead of the wind at our back. NBA Elias is with gold, timing is critical, or crucial. Gold gains big boom, but rarely. Oof. Man, that wind is brutal. But NBA Elias, you're 100% correct. Gold has always traded very, very similar. Now, if you rewind literally all the way to the very beginning of this live stream, I took everybody behind the desk, right? Behind my desk. And I said, go pull up a chart of gold and put it on a monthly time frame. Right, going back to the 70s. And gold really tends to have these very parabolic price runs. And then gold has these very, very deep and lengthy corrections for decades, right? Now, gold did top in 2011. I believe it was August of 2011. Gold put in a top, and it's been down to sideways pretty much ever since, right? Until now, just the last year or so, it's been building out. We got a little road rage here, building out the right side of that base. So we'll see. But if you're all enjoying the live stream so far on this very rainy and blustery night in Manhattan, feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new, because we do these walking tours every single night starting at 8:30. Whoa, that wind is strong. Whew. was a huge, probably like 25-mile-an-hour gust of wind. JC, this is maybe a Brooklyn Heights walking tour. Absolutely. Whenever I can get over there, 100%. We'll probably be there more often when the weather's nice, though. I don't really like to leave Manhattan, to be honest, in the winter. Just being honest. I don't really venture out of Manhattan when it's frigid temperatures out. Ooh, I think this truck got jackknifed behind this guy. You guys see that? Yikes. So as you can see, they're detouring everybody away from 2nd Avenue. I believe there was a major sort of, I don't know, you guys know better than me, but there was some sort of explosion here. Or asbestos, something like that. Oh, let me put you guys down for a second. Deborah, steam pipe. 10-4, copy that. Thank you, Deborah. Even the dog has his little raincoat on. But as you can see, check this out. So you have a massive traffic jam backed up all up 2nd Avenue. And the NYPD has closed off the entire street, extending all the way down to what looks like 42nd Street. Dog looks miserable. I think that lady should probably bring in her dog. The dog's like, yeah, I've had enough of a walk tonight. I just want to sit by the fireplace and hang out. Yeah, King says, Tom, New York City traffic looks just as bad as LA. See, I was just about to say I love LA. But that's not true because I've never been there. I love the weather in LA. Sunny every day, picture perfect and gorgeous every single day. So I think I would be open to living in LA. However, I don't like driving at all. And I need public transportation to get around. And LA does not have pretty much any public transportation at all. So I think I'll stick with New York City. But definitely 75 degrees, sunny, being at the beach every day. That does not suck. That is amazing. And I think that's why everybody loves California. Well, let me wipe my lens here. Hey, Alj, thank you so much for your very generous $50 donations. Tom, greatly appreciate your content. Thanks for allowing me to hang out with you. Thank you so much for your generosity and your support of the channel throughout 2023. I very much appreciate it. I appreciate you being here, and thank you for your insight as well. This is the High School of Art and Design. But again, thank you so much for your donation. Appreciate it. And hopefully you had a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays with your family. Yeah, that's true. Somebody says LA needs to solve the homelessness crisis. Well, New York City has a homelessness crisis of it in and of itself as well. Oof, here's that wind picking up again. Hawaii, says Tom, LA is okay, but New York City definitely over LA. Like, look, I would never be opposed totally to living in Los Angeles, mainly because the weather is so attractive. But I don't know if I can get used to driving around all the time. And I need to be, I think as you guys could tell, right? I would say very type A personality. And I need to be on the go all the time. Like, or I get super restless. LA is too, like, laid back. You know, I need to be putting my head through a wall almost 24/7. So maybe when I'm a little bit older, I guess, I could do that. You know, I think I was telling you guys a story about my friend. Wealthy guy. And, you know, he tends to lean conservative in his politics. But he says, Tom, I will never move out of the state of California, ever. He's like, I don't care how bad it gets. I don't care how crazy the politics are. I don't care if I have to pay 90% of my income in taxes. I will never move out of this state, ever. And I said, why is that? He's like, because where I live, it is literally the most perfect climate all year round. It's about 70 to 78 degrees every day. No humidity. Okay, the most perfect environment to live. And it's sunny almost every day. He's like, at some point, you know, when you've made your money, you got to pick where you want to live. And if you want to live in a really, really nice place, sometimes you got to pay up. And I kind of get that. I kind of get that. And you guys know I tend to lean conservative too. But I think that's what keeps a lot of people around places like LA, right? San Diego, California, even New York City, right? You know, the taxes here are crazy. You know, some people hate the politics here, as I do. But will I ever leave 100%? No. Nope. I'll never ever leave 100%. So I kind of get it. I get it. Well, it looks like the rain's really picking up here. Wow, someone says we had 2 earthquakes in the last few hours here in Orange County. Wow, stay safe. I wonder what that must be like, experiencing an earthquake. Yeah, that's another thing. We don't have those in New York. All right, this is East 56th Street and Madison Avenue. This is also completely closed down to street traffic. This looks kind of crazy, doesn't it? I'm not used to seeing the streets with absolutely no cars on it. It kind of reminds me of the days during the pandemic. If you guys have been watching Walks on Wall Street since the pandemic, we used to skateboard down the streets in New York City and do the live stream. And quite literally, sometimes there was not one car on the road. Maybe a handful of cars, maybe a couple yellow cabs, maybe. This is kind of bringing back that vibe a little bit. Let me stand in the middle of the street. Now that's a cool shot. All the way in the distance, you see the spire of the Chrysler building looking all the way down to Grand Central Terminal. That's pretty cool. Hey, NBA Elias says Midwest baseball size hailstorms will ruin your Tesla in a second. That's another thing I didn't think about. You know what, let me let me pick up the pace here a little bit and start heading down towards Times Square. Because I forgot to bring the charger tonight, so when the phone dies, that's it, friends. That is it for the stream. You know, and I was thinking about this, so to sort of bring it back to the investment business here for a second. It's going to sound crazy, but I also think the climate and the desirability of the United States has a lot to do with the success of our economy. And hear me out for a second. And I wrote about this in the Behind the Street newsletter, which is our free financial newsletter that we send out every other Thursday after the market closes. If you want to read that for free, all you have to do is just type !news, N-E-W-S, in the chat, and the Nightbot will drop the link to our Substack. But one of the things I was talking about is, you know, if you look at immigration trends, very, very, very few people give up their U.S. citizenship. But look at how many people are trying to actively come to the United States and become a citizen of the U.S., right? Start their businesses here, start their livelihoods here, raise a family here, get educated in the United States of America. Pretty much everybody, right? You know, if you go to, you know, I mean, pick your country. And if you were to say, hey, do you want to, you know, if you could get citizenship in China to start a family, to start a business there, or if you can get one in the United States, start a business, start a family, raise kids there, you think they're going to say, yeah, I really want to live under Xi Jinping's CCP communist rule and, you know, start my business there. No, they're going to come to the United States of America, right? Because we have free markets, and we essentially tell people and tell the world that if you come here, and if you work hard and you educate yourself, you can have individual property rights, individual freedoms, and you're allowed to get rich and get wealthy, right? I think individual property rights and freedoms is so important. And think about how strategically located the United States is. You could stay in the United States and go skiing and have some of the best skiing in the world. Or you could be in the tropics near Miami, Florida, and in Key West, right, and have an amazing tropical vacation. Then you could take a 3-hour flight and be in the greatest city on the face of the earth, New York City, within 3 hours. Okay? So America really has everything. It's really bizarre. And I'm extremely thankful for that. This country quite literally has everything you could ever want for everybody. All different climates, all different industries. I mean, the world is your oyster here, really. It's very, very unique. And I think that's why you'll continue to see exponential compounding in terms of GDP growth in the US. Last Thursday, I wrote a piece sort of looking at the Fed website, which is essentially the Federal Reserve's website, St. Louis Fed. And for some context, if you scan the QR code, you can kind of follow along and see what I'm talking about. If you scroll about a third of the way down the newsletter, oh, look at all these sandbags here. You know, if you scroll down about a third of the way on the newsletter, I put a chart of US GDP coming from the St. Louis Federal Reserve's website, coming from 1995 to right now. So for some homework for all of you, I want you to look where US GDP was in 1995. The reason why I chose that, because that's the year I was born, right? So look at GDP in the United States in 1995 and look where it is right now, okay? And that's just in, 28 years. Where do we think US GDP is going to be in the next 28 years? Do we think it's going to be on the decline? Or do you think it's also going to double? I think it's going to double, right? I mean, from 1995 until now, think about all the crazy innovation we have in the United States. We've gone through the internet boom, telecommunications, 4G. I think probably 4G, fourth generation telecommunications, was probably the most, I always say it's probably the most profound invention or breakthrough of our time, right? That's how we're able to do this live stream. I wasn't able to do the live stream on 3G networks, but 4G, it's essentially you have a little supercomputer in the palm of your hand, right? If you really think about, everybody talking about the dangers of AI and how crazy it's going to be, fourth generation wireless technology has already made Americans and really everybody across the globe mini humanoid robots. The only difference is the latency, right? The difference between, humans becoming one with robots is just the latency. So I've explained this a lot of times, we've gone over it, but back in the 70s, right, when my parents were in college, they had to go to a library and look things up in books and in encyclopedias. And it would take them days, right, hours to find answers to little trivia questions. But now you could just say, hey Siri, who is the president of Zimbabwe? And you get the answer instantaneously, right? So that is, essentially, we are supercomputers already. I think the next step in innovation, we're not gonna have to say, hey Siri, we're just gonna think about it and we're gonna get the answer, right? So I think the reduction in latency is gonna be that next step in innovation that's gonna propel GDP growth even more. So I continue to be bullish on the United States. That'll be the end of that rant. But yeah, if you want to check out our free investing newsletter, if you scan the QR code on your screen and just punch in your email, we send it out every other Thursday after the market closes. And it looks like they even closed off the street here by the Seagram building, Park Avenue, East 52nd Street. The NYPD has totally closed off the street. And they've closed it off here too. Kind of crazy. All right, let me check my battery. All right, yeah, we gotta head out, friends. All right, let's pick up the pace a little bit so we can get you all to Times Square. Our battery is at about 23%. And I knew I forgot something when I came out of the office today. I was like, you know what? I feel like I'm forgetting something. But then I'm like, no, I'm good. I didn't forget anything. And right as I press record, I'm like, I forgot my charger. That's all right. Hey, Fun Feeds is here. What's up? Good to see you. Hopefully you had a very Merry Christmas. gosh, it's raining so much. It's like a lake now at the end of the street. Hey, Melissa 2087 says, Tom, what are your plans for New Year's Eve? You know, I'm not too sure yet. I got invited to like a client thing, but I don't know if I should say this. Nah, they're probably not watching. Like, I don't know. I'm not a big party guy. Sometimes I just like to chill. Anybody else feel that? Like, I appreciate getting invited to things. I really do. I think it's very thoughtful. I, you know, love getting invited to cool things, but sometimes I'm like, I just almost rather just chill by myself and just relax a little bit. I guess it's just my personality. But yeah, maybe I'll be doing that. So maybe I'll be at like a client event. Yeah, Western Mass Daves is understand, Tom. I prefer it simple, particularly because I'm out and about interacting with people every day, right? Like today, I was in Brooklyn all day, showing people apartments, you know, doing presentations at our big project, the Conover, which I love to do. But you know, when I'm on, like I'm turned on, like I'm giving all the theatrics, you know, I'm telling everybody about, you know, the property, all about the developer, you know, every little detail about how the project was started, the vision, the architect, the designers, the stagers, everything. But at the end of the day, I kind of just like to unplug and chill by myself. Hey, Ahmed, what's up? This is Tom. How are you tonight? I'm doing really good. How are you? I'm trying to get you guys to Times Square. Yeah, I would say I'm an introvert for sure. Yeah, I think if it's work related, you know, I'm there, I'm having a good time, it's great, but sort of after hours, like on a big holiday, I kind of just like to just not do the whole works. I guess in my personality, it feels more like work than it is like relaxing. I'll tell you a quick story. At my previous career, when I was in tech sales, you know, we would always have vendors come in and, you know, pitch us like products to sell, right? Through the channel. It was called the channel partners, which, like, look, we had some really great products come in and really great representatives. To this day, I still, you know some of them. Like the people from Zscaler would come in, the people from Dialpad, Zoom, right? Axsoft, all these different places that would, you know, try to convince us to sell their stuff. And, you know, they would take us out to dinner. They would take us out, you know, for drinks after work. And sometimes those are the days I would be like, you know, we got to go to this corporate outing after work. You know, it was fun, but if I'm being honest, would I rather just kind of chill and not go to them? I would say probably not go to them. But I always did. I always went to every one of them because I think it's important. But my personality sort of tells me not to, but I always go to them. I think that's just how my personality is wired. But I've always forced myself to attend every one of them, because I think it's good for networking and it's respectful to the sales rep, right? If they're taking their time out, you know, to buy your team dinner, I think it's the right thing to do to, you know, listen to what they have to say, you know, and participate. Hey, David Sommers, the 24th and 25th had a good chance to be alone for sure. Good to see you, David Sommers. Welcome. Stephen Pate, what's up? JC says, Tom, what is the building next to you? This is the very famous Hemsley building. This is one of my favorite buildings in New York City. The very famous and iconic Hemsley. This leads you directly into Grand Central Station, which we're going to be in just a moment. Whoops. Sorry about that. Joe, Kansas. This is one of Tom's favorite buildings. I feel like I say that about almost every building in Manhattan. Ah, and this is one of my favorite buildings. Oh, this one is, guys, listen to this. This is one of my favorite buildings in Manhattan. I feel like I say that a lot. All right, let's get out of the rain. Let's take a little bit of a detour, and then we should be able to make a straight shot into Times Square. Oh, man. Whew. Oh, my God. Okay. At least we're out of the rain. Fun Feed says I forget my Briggs type. You know, I did take that personality test once. I think it said I was the rarest personality. INF something? I think INFJ? I don't know, I forget. But I took that once. My boss wanted me to take it once. All right, 200 Park Avenue. Actually pretty busy in here tonight. Baby Grinch says, is anybody excited for 2024? Yes, I'm very excited for 2024. I think it's going to be a very challenging year, but a very, very rewarding year. I think this is going to be the year that is going to allow a lot of people to level up in a big way. I view 2024 like, you know, the bases are loaded, right, at Yankee Stadium, and Aaron Judge steps up to the plate. And we don't know the result yet, but the only thing we do know is that the bases are loaded and Aaron Judge is at the plate. Now, could he, you know, absolutely send a dinger in the left field and hit it out of the park? Yeah, he could. He definitely could. But could he get struck out? He could. He could. But the suspense is there because you have your number one guy at the plate with the bases loaded, my friends. So that's how I feel about 2024. All right, let me get the umbrella cranking again. Brady Grams' hard work in 2024, just rewards in 2025. I agree. There's going to be a lot of opportunity next year. Huge opportunity. Yeah, Michael Joseph, and it's an election year. So we'll definitely have our fair share of distractions. You know the media is going to try to get us riled up next year. But I think we just need to stay steadfast and focus. Hey, Jonathan from Florida, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I appreciate it. And thank you for your very nice package that you sent to the office. I do appreciate it very much, and it's already hanging up right behind my desk. So thank you so much for that. Here we have the Stephen Schwartzman building, the New York Public Library. A lot of people caught out without the umbrella tonight. Just missed the light. All right, we're good. Well, it looks like we're just gonna make it into the heart of Times Square. I don't know if it'll be cloudy. Well, it definitely will be cloudy, but I don't know if it'll be cloudy enough that it will cover the top of one Times Square. So maybe we won't even be able to see the numerals. You have New York City's Bryant Park over to the left. Now you always got to slow down when you're walking right here, because this is like ice skating. It's like walking on glass. The type of stone that they have here, when it's wet, it is really slippery. Oof. Eric says, Tom, did you say Stanley Druckenmiller was a George Soros minion? No. Stan Druckenmiller worked for George Soros. I don't know what you mean by minion, but he started his professional career by working for George Soros. And that wind is brutal as we're crossing the street. And it doesn't even look like you could see the Empire State Building. You can just barely make out the spire of the Empire. As we're standing on the corner of Bank of America Tower and Salesforce Tower. But it looks like we've made it. We finally made it. We are officially approaching Times Square. We're going to be walking directly behind One Times Square. Hey, LA 007, good to see you. Thanks for joining us on this very dreary night in New York. But if you guys have enjoyed the live stream so far tonight, please hit the like button and click the subscribe button if you're new, because we do these live streams every night starting at 8:30, walking around New York City and talking about the financial markets, real estate, current events, all that good stuff. Oh, you know what? You could just see it from here. Look at this. So if you look right here, that is the pole where they are going to be dropping the ball on New Year's. And you could just see it a little bit. If you look right here, the base of this little pole there, that is where they have the ball. Right there. That they're going to drop on New Year's Eve. Now, I wonder how many people are actually going to be at the Times Square festivities this year. I think it could possibly break a record, right? Because 2023, I think, is really the year that tourism is 100% back to pre-pandemic norms, in my opinion. Because this year, just walking around, Rockefeller Center, Radio City Music Hall, I mean, crazy crowds that I haven't seen really since 2019, I would say. I'd say this is the first year where it was back. So who knows? Maybe this year we'll set a record in Times Square. pouring raining and there's still a lot of people out. This is the main NASDAQ building. It says if you're handed a compact disc, it's free. Tipping is optional. They put this up because of the CD scam, guys. Which I don't even understand how their scam is still going strong. Because I don't even own a CD player. Like, you know, the kids nowadays, you hand them a CD, and it's like, what is this? Like, I don't even know what you're handing me. So, but that's another thing I'll say really quick before we head out. This year, okay, and I'm not being negative, I'm just being honest. From walking around the city, this year was an all-time record high for frauds in the city. The amount of tourists this year, okay, that I've physically, personally seen get absolutely fleeced by either the CD guys, the monk people that go up to you and say, hey, we're building this new, you know, monastery that doesn't exist, and then they give you like, you know, some beads, and then they ask for $50. I have never seen so many tourists get fleeced. Like, this year was bad. It was like really bad. I was cringing. So if you're in New York City and anybody comes up to you, it's a fraud, okay? Unless it's like a police officer. If somebody comes up to you pitching you something, asking you something, saying, hey, I'm gonna sign this for you if you give me money, it's all a scam, it's all a fraud. But this year was a new all-time record high for frauds. It's wild. Anyway, so if you look at the top of One Times Square here, you could see the letters or the numbers 2024. Those are the 2024 numerals that are now sitting at the top of One Times Square. John Kelly says, I believe it, man. You got more scammers post-pandemic due to more people having less money. Yeah, I mean, I think that, and just, I don't even know, but I even have a couple of my good friends that do similar, you know, content creation in New York City, and we've all said the same thing. You know, walking around the city, just like observing things, man. It's, I mean, I've seen tourists give these CD guys, you know, $100 bills, which is crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Anyway, let me try to stand back a little bit so you can all see the Times Square area a little bit better. Oh, I think we have to end it here because the my phone's gonna die. So everybody, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. If you want to sign up for our free financial newsletter, just scan the QR code on your screen, punch in your email. But until tomorrow, we will see you guys later.